We are talking about Star Trek Discovery. Apparently, the writing for Star Trek Discovery has been completed. What do we expect from Star Trek Discovery? Let me tell you what I expect. Not much. Not much.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's funny. It's like my heart and soul always wants to like say, well, maybe it'll be better. You know, I always want to do that. Like maybe they'll just figure it out and it'll be okay. You know, that's kind of how what I want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know. So let's tell you what is going to happen. They did wrap writing, so they're done writing it. They actually started shooting episode 10 back in early June in Toronto, and apparently they're halfway completed. But this season 5 is going to be about this. In season 5, Captain Burnham and the crew of the USS Discovery uncover a mystery that sends them on an epic adventure across the galaxy to find an ancient power whose very existence has been deliberately hidden for centuries. But there are others on the hunt as well. Dangerous foes who are desperate to claim the prize for themselves and will stop at nothing to get it. Sounds like Indiana Jones, doesn't it?
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like last season, they go, hey, what's a really like epic universe thing that we can pull from canon? They're like, oh, the Great Barrier.
Yeah.
And so they wrote that ridiculous season. And then this season, they're like, okay, so that was a success. Obviously, they're not reading everything. What else can we pull? And they're like, oh, what about God?
Wasn't the Great Barrier, though, at the center of the universe or galaxy? They went outside the galaxy.
No. The Great Barrier was not at the center. It was.
Are you sure?
I don't know, Shane. I don't know where the damn Great Barrier is in the galaxy.
Barrier, Star Trek.
Yes, like say Archmage phrase. Before I was rudely interrupted by Shane.
Yes, the Galactic Core. Oh wait, let me see here.
Before I was rudely interrupted by Shane for the third time now. Give me a second, Shane. I said, "Oh God, are they going to ruin Iconians?" That was my thought process.
I see. So they might go to Iconians, and yes, it probably would likely ruin it. But my point, the reason I interrupted you, and I'm sorry, is because you said that they went to, the Great Barrier outside of the galaxy. So, but they didn't, because the Great Barrier, which we went to in Star Trek 5, right? Undiscovered Country?
Sure, yeah.
Or whatever, Star Trek 6, whatever. 5. Anyways, forgive me on which one.
The last TOS movie. Right.
They went to the center of the galaxy, not to the edge. And in Discovery last season, they went outside the galaxy.
No, but they called I don't know. Maybe they're wrong, but they called it the Great Barrier, and they said that starships couldn't get past the Great Barrier before for whatever reason.
Interesting.
It was like a void or something like that, or something ridiculous and stupid nonsense. And they couldn't. And there was no mycelial network, so they couldn't Once they got in there, they couldn't use their mushroom drive, spore drive. It was so bad. I don't know why we're talking about it, but it was really bad. So what I was going to say though is they go, let's rehash something that they talked about in old Trek. And now they're doing the same thing. And I feel like it's either going to be God, the Greek mythos people from TOS, or like Iconians, which it would make sense if it was Iconians, because Iconians span multiple series.
And they need to be careful because they said they're going to traverse the galaxy. I mean, you got to remember that it was going to take 40 years for Voyager to just cross the Delta Quadrant.
Right, but they have the spore drive, dude.
Oh, that's right. Shoot, I keep forgetting they have this technology that nobody should have. That's right.
No one ever in any TV show ever, any science fiction, anything should ever have the ability to basically fast travel at whim. That is a video game mechanic. It doesn't belong. It doesn't belong in a story. When you're writing a story, part of the story is the travel time. So
makes me tired.
Like you can't just. That's basically what they said. Like, let's make a technology that allows our crew to fast travel like you're playing Grand Theft Auto. Like stop it. oh God, it makes no sense. Anyways,
it's like a cheat code. Yeah, it's just not right.
Yeah, Archmage Phrase said there's a barrier around the galaxy. Also, there's a barrier around the galaxy, according to Gary Mitchell, episode 2S.
That's true. You're right. There's 2 barriers, apparently. I don't know. But all I remember is that when they went looking for God, they went to the center of the galaxy. They didn't go outside the galaxy in Star Trek Undiscovered Country.
And and there's also that one power, too, where remember the giant head, Zero, whatever. You know, there's been a lot of like godlike powers in TOS and in TNG. But I got to tell you, Iconians make the most sense because
used often, yeah.
It's popular enough that I know these weak writers would know of the name, and a quick Google search would reveal that nothing's happened with that race yet, and they would say, "Oh, fans would probably want to know more about that."
Well, and I think you might be right because it says here they uncover a mystery to find an ancient power that has been deliberately hidden for centuries. Now we know the Iconians are not hidden during Picard's time because they're investigating it. So that would make sense if it was only centuries. You know that they maybe since Discovery went into the future, it's been hidden. I guess maybe. But Starfleet has really good information on the Iconians and.
Well, they didn't say Starfleet hid it, though. What if it was hidden and Starfleet never found it? You know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Know. Ugh.
It's an ancient power, which I don't know.
I mean, the Iconians were like God tier, right? Before they just disappeared.
They could send people. They definitely were more advanced, I think, than anybody in current.
Yeah, they were like the ancients from like Stargate. Like they were like top tier when it came to tech.
Yeah, but I don't think they ascended.
No, they didn't ascend. I don't know. Orville Nation for $5. FYI, taken from Joe Malazzi's blink drive concept from Dark Matter. I thought the same thing, but at least the blink drive had restrictions. Like there was, it wasn't unlimited range, right? And it was unlimited uses, and there was actual restrictions, like limitations to that technology. But there's almost seemingly no limitation to the Spore drive other than the fact that they had to use like the stupid tardigrade. And then you eliminated that restriction when you made it so that the chief engineer can do it. And then, there's a little restriction because the chief engineer is one person. Oh, but then you made it so that this other guy can do it. So if anyone can eventually be like programmed or made to do it, then there really isn't a restriction, is there?
True. That's a good point. So during this, when the writing wrapped, there was a past interview with showrunner Michelle Paradise. And she went on to say when they asked, how are they going to apply the lessons learned in the previous 4 seasons to how they approach the new season? And this is what Michelle said. We learn from every single season, and not just from every season. We learn from every episode, both creatively and logistically, working to better reach and be possibly the best version of the show we can be, and also be the best possible addition to the Star Trek universe. The things that come to mind immediately are probably things that are perhaps less interesting to fans of the show itself. But there were a lot of lessons learned last season in the lines of production and logistics. Okay, yeah, that's boring. How to shoot during COVID. We have brand new technology in the AR wall, which is a phenomenal technology.
That's that.
So they'll be using.
That's that thing I was telling you about earlier. The one with it's basically a projector wall. Yeah,
that Star Wars is using. And that's also a learning curve. So we've learned a lot about that over season 4 and be able to come and use it in new ways in season 5. So will we see an upgrade to locations, perhaps with these walls? But it doesn't say we're going to stop being the worst Star Trek show out right now.
I like what Archmage Frey said. Doing the Iconians and STD is like a new Stargate show immediately doing a season-long arc to meet the Furlings.
Ah, that's a good point.
But you're right. But it's also, I wouldn't put it past them. Like 100%. I'm actually I'm believing it's either the Iconians or one of those things from that they're just mining from past episodes, because that's what they did last season.
Well, we won't know for sure, probably for about another year, since that's about how long we have before Discovery Season 5 happens. So we will keep you guys posted if anything new comes out.
Yeah, you know what's really interesting too is that like they really do believe that the last season was successful. In their minds, they said that was I remember that when we were watching Star Trek, they were talking about it was the most successful season, and I'm like, to who was that successful?